Okay, so let's talk about maybe some more of that remote work. Um, just maybe your personal. What have you changed from your routine, your day-to-day routine, going remote?
So in my day-to-day routine, so when I started this role, it was right at the beginning of the pandemic. So I was there as everyone else was trying to figure out how they did it. And you know me, Matt, I'm a guy who I love people. So people saw me going to remote work and thought, oh my gosh, Kevin's going to lose his mind here. However, what I found out is I am much more efficient because of the way I'm able to schedule things out. So instead of walking to a meeting and forgetting something and having to go back, everything's digitized. So it's all here. So one thing I've realized in remote work is I can actually, because we're using computers for this, I can queue up all the electronic documents I want to show, right? And I can share them as we're coming across. So coming into meetings planning has been different from me, where it's, wow, I'll have to figure out what everybody wants to see. So the next meeting I can show it to them. I now can walk in, and as people are talking, I've got all this there. Not to say I didn't have that before, but in a room, it's a little different, as you notice. So that was one thing. I found out I was able to plan for meetings, and I've always thought I planned really well for meetings, but I realized I could only plan to what I was going to react to. Now I can be much more proactive. I can have all that information there. The other part about it is my remote work has made interactions such as this much more meaningful and powerful. Right.
Yep.
I love interacting with people, but if you look at your day, how much was, hey, how are you? That good normal human interaction, and how much was really focusing on another individual and really listening to them and really doing. So remote work has made it that when I do interact with a customer or with a person, it's that much more impactful because all my focus is there. It's not like, oh yeah, I'll see him tomorrow. And so it's almost like a treasure, as goofy as that sounds. And so I approach these meetings as that. And so I'm really able to focus for the time and know that at the end, then my brain can turn off and I can go to something else. So that very quantized focus is really helpful for me. And then lastly, I really like the remote work because it gives me the flexibility, right? I work with customers across the world. And so I don't have to, quote unquote, change my schedule to communicate with them. I can do a meeting whenever because it's no longer that set time of 8 to 5 is when you'll be in the office. It's when do you need support? When do you need help? And as you learn that and as you figure out when those times are, then I can fill those other non-work points with other things I need to get done to make sure that I'm not just sitting around all day waiting for things to happen. So I feel like I can be much more focused on that. And in fact, as goofy as it sounds, I end up with more free time than I knew what to do with before because I've done so well segmenting out my day, which actually allows me times to build in time to do nothing, to go walk in my garden or go for a run or do something of that nature that I maybe wasn't able to do before because I was more reactive. Being proactive in the remote work style allows me to really schedule what I want as important during the day.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on every one of those points. So, for example, I just had a meeting with some people who work in China last night. We scheduled it for 6 o'clock. It's their start of their day or near the start of their day. It's the end of our day here.
Yep.
Before remote work, oh man, that would have been annoying, right?
Could you imagine? You'd have to work with your boss to say, hey, I'm having a late call tonight, so can I bug out early from work today or show up late tomorrow? And the thing about it is we're, especially in these type of roles that we have, right, where you're doing projects and you're talking to people, you find that freedom and flexibility really just drives the time you have to put into it. My kids at home know that I'll go on sprints at home where I'll go for 2 hours and I'll say, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to go for 2 hours. Now, I stop myself at that end of the 2 hours, even if I'm not where I want to be, because I know that at 2 hours, I start to have diminishing returns. I know at that point I need to step away, need to go have a cup of coffee, shoot some hoops, whatever it is, reset. And that may only take 10 or 15 minutes. But that allows me now to regroup, breathe, and hit it again, right? And the remote work, I think, really sets you up to do that. And like you said, it brings people across. I'm working on a current project with a large consumer health group where I've got team members in the UK, in France, in Switzerland, and in Mexico. And then, of course, me in the US. And in the US, we've got teammates who are in different time zones in the US. So being able to pull that together used to be, oh yeah, corporate has to deal with that. But now operationally, we're realizing, especially as we're getting more digital, the replication opportunities are there is, well, if we can do that in this plant and you have the same setup in that plant, then we're really having those opportunities now at the plant level to discuss that we may not have had before remote work really hit.